Nigeria, you find facilities. The facilities we have, the buildings we have, are the ones built by the colonial masters before the before 1960. Those are the more buildings we still have, and those facilities were a particular population at the time. And Nigeria population is growing every day, and as our population is growing, more people will be incarcerated. And at the end of the day, people are casted into the limited prison facility, which is not done. In the United States here, more prisons are built by the day, and more manpowers are employed to manage the population of those who are incarcerated and all that. So that is where the difference comes between Nigeria and the United States in prison administration or prison management. Nevertheless, in the United States here, what we call true federalism operates, where the state, the local government, federal government, they manage some certain things independently. In the United States here, we have the prison management by the county, which is the local government, equivalent to the local government in Nigeria. At the state level, they have the prison management too, where they have their own prison. Then at the federal level, we have the same thing. In Nigeria, we have everything centered within the domain of the federal government. That becomes a problem, and that is why you have a lot of prison break in Nigeria, because the ability to actually manage those facilities are just too overwhelming for the federal government. Nevertheless, another factor we must look at too is the administration of the justice system, criminal justice system in Nigeria. We compare it alongside with that of the US. That of the US is effective, very effective, in the sense that when you are arrested by the police, within 24 hours, you must see a judge, and the judge will tell you your fate, where you will be going to, if you will be released on condition, you'll be incarcerated for some time. That when that happens, you have a direction and a focus where your life will be at the moment. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. There are a lot of people who have been behind bars. They've never seen the courtroom for 5 years. And when this happens, sometimes their family members might be desperate on how the friends might be desperate. They can get their friends from prison facility, and that always inform the idea of prison break and all that. You know, a lot of factors are there, but the basic factor that we must understand in this conversation is that government need to build more facility, prison facilities, and also unemployment is a major factor why we have a lot of people incarcerated in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, as a doctorate in international related issues, looking at the global terrorism index and how countries over the world has fought terrorism, do you think Nigeria is doing enough, and the government is being sincere in tackling terrorism wholeheartedly?
Terrorism is the light of day within 24 hours. No, be well informed that the government behind it, or the government is complicit. The government is aware of it. In other words, I'm not sure that terrorism should overwhelm the state, the modern system, in the sense that the state has the highest form of force. You know, so when terrorists begin to overwhelm your national military, or the government is either closing their eyes and things are happening, or they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. In Nigeria, I think I will quickly just give it straight to the point. The administration of Nigeria, the federal government, I don't know, maybe terrorist activity is part of the agenda, I don't know, because the management of the way they've gone about fighting terrorism is still not enough. It's still not enough. When you look at the way other nations are taking it, it is a great offense. It is a thing that must not be heard of in places like the United States. Thinking about it, even expressing it is a problem. You'll be charged. It's not a joke. It's not a thing of joke. But in Nigeria, we even find the case that members of Boko Haram are given VIP treatment, all that. They are paid by the state and all that, you know. So it's a paradox, it's an irony. So in a in comparative analysis, I think Nigeria is really not. The administration of Buhari must tell us if they are really ready to fight Boko terrorism.
Okay, what are some of the models you think Nigeria should imbibe in helping our prison system here in Nigeria to make it more functional?
Justice system. That is the main point. You can't just put somebody behind bars for 4 years, 3 years, without seeing a judge, without seeing the courtroom. No, it is an aberration. It will not work out like that, because you end up jam packing the prison facility, and those ones are forced to be there. You know, before someone is actually being incarcerated, it must come from the presence of the judge. You know, within a court that has jurisdiction do so. So the Nigeria judicial administration of justice system, criminal justice system, must be reactivated properly to meet the best practices globally, where somebody must see a judge. If you have been alleged to have committed a crime, then you must see a judge within 24 hours to get a direction of what will happen to the suspected. Nevertheless, the federal government, on its part, even the state government, the local government, they are all in synergy to bring the dividends of democracy to the people of Nigeria. They must, as well, do everything possible to provide the basic things, the basic amenities, basic needs, you know, for Nigeria, so that people don't go into unnecessary crime. Because the lack of basic needs, the lack of basic facilities, are most likely to inform criminal internal actions and all that. So the government must do all it can to make sure that jobs are provided for our teeming youths who are graduating from the school universities every year and every semester. So that must be done. Then other measures must be put, other vocational skills, like giving loans, those who want to go into self-business and all that, what we call entrepreneurship today. You know, those must be encouraged. Where these are happening, nobody will talk about crime and all that. You know, at the end of the day, there are major crimes that are not informed by the lack of basic amenities, basic things of life. So when that is done, then the government will have a way. In the US, we have crimes, you know, but they are not as dominant the way we have it in the US. They're not informed by those petty things that was supposed to provide for us.
Okay, I want you to compare welfareism in Nigeria prison to the one in Florida. I mean, how will you compare it, welfareism in correctional centers?
I moved to relocated to the US. I was privileged to visit Nigeria prison, mostly the one in Benin, Oko prison, and all that. I think there is no comparison. Over there in Nigeria, people are treated like, how will I say, they're treated like subhuman beings, animals. Even in the zoo here, when you go to the zoo here, the animals are well treated, better than how criminals are treated in Nigeria prison. I think it's not a thing to write home about. I want at the time we had a kid that so much enjoyed our facility, and he didn't want to go home because everything he was getting there in the prison system here, you get your medicals, you get your food, you get your clothes. It's just like home. You enjoy everything. The only thing that you miss is freedom to move. You are limited uh, in your movement where you move to. That is the only thing. Otherwise, everything is being enjoyed. I imagine who is asked to go home. You have been freed. He said, "No, I don't want to go home. I want to remain here because he has been enjoying almost what his only could not provide for him." So it's much better here. It's much better here, and that is why when they come out at the end of the day, it's still useful to the society because they have gone there to be rehabilitated, not to be treated as animals. And when you compare those who come out from Nigeria prison system, and when they come out at the end of the day, you see that they get worse than what they were before they were incarcerated. They become more hardened, because they've been dehumanized, they've been treated in a way that no human being should be treated that way. So they come out, instead of being transformed, they become worse. That is it. So our criminal justice system must take cognizance of this fact, and the prison management must take cognizance of this fact. But they can't really do. They cannot do so much. It boils down to the limited facilities they have too. In our facilities here, we have a person number, a room. Like in a room, you can't have more than 2 inmates in the room. Everybody has his bed space and all that. Everything is almost like the hostel, the school hostel and all that. They go to school, they get other basic things. So the difference is very clear. The difference is very clear, and they get good food, good meals and all that, which they don't get in Nigeria. Most of them don't take their baths for weeks and all that, So it's more tragic in Nigeria than the experience here. Thank you.
Okay, doctor. As an international relations expert, looking at the NSAS saga that just hit Nigeria, how do you think this appears in the light of international politics, other world leaders? How do you think they will welcome it? Because there are a lot of issues and questions being raised concerning the report that was submitted by the panel that was set up for the NSAS. What do you think is the place of the international community in addressing the issues regarding the NSAS saga in Nigeria?
Saga is a thing that calls for concern. If you look at the Declaration of Human Rights, people have rights, citizens have right to express their grievances against government. In as far as people, it is one of your fundamental human rights you enjoy as a human being. You have to express how you feel against civil authorities and all that. But the way we have it in Nigeria, when people express that, it's as if they are challenging the government, they are opposing the government. That must have informed what really happened, the kind of orientation our government, both successive previous government, and I'm very sure the ones that will come will still have this kind of mentality that when people protest, it means that they are fighting the government. No, it's part of the fundamental right of citizens, and I'm very sure that happened in Nigeria, the Lekki toll gate. That thing of anyway, it is in the first place, if the military has been pointed out to have shot against unharmed citizens who were protesting for a better situation, a better treatment by the law enforcement institutions. It is really, and it is not acceptable anywhere. We even within the Council of the United Nations, it's not a thing that accepted. That is almost like a genocide, because it was a crowd and you open fire, shoot them helpless and population. Although we have had a continuous denial of this, that the military did not shoot at them, did not shoot at the population, but the report that just came out from the fact-finding tribunal set by the Lagos government indicate obviously that there was a military shooting at the population. This called for concern, and the international community, from what I'm saying, they are not taking it lightly. You can remember that suddenly, just last week, the Secretary of State, United States Secretary of State, visited Abuja. I'm very sure one of the things he came for will really look at this to remind the Nigerian government of accountability, because we're in a society, a country that people are not accountable. The government is supposed to be accountable. You can't just kill your people, like, have to be accountable. There are laws, there are international laws, there are domestic laws, that define our behavior and all that. So I'm very sure as the white paper comes out, based on the report of that committee, I'm very sure there will be clear sanctions, probably sanctions from the United Nations, maybe the United States of America, and hopefully the European Union and all that will take a position on that. And remember that that will not end if it is true. The ICC still there too, because those who were behind that massacre would definitely.
Welcome back. So I think we should.
Sir, are you still with us? Doctor, are you still there? Doctor, are you there?
Hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for having you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
So, look quickly, looking at the recommendations so far you've made, what do you think the government needs to specifically do in helping inmates in our prisons? Because the prison is supposed to be a change system where people go there and they are changed and they come out better.
Yeah.
But it doesn't appear to be so in Nigeria, just as you rightly stated out. What are your recommendations? What do you think the government should do in helping inmates in the Nigeria prison system?
Is first of all acknowledge that those behind bars are human beings. They still enjoy human rights. You enjoy human rights regardless of your state in the state. You might be denied of your political right, but your human right is inherent. So you must be treated first as a human being. The government must realize that those there are human beings who enjoy human rights, universal human rights. They must be treated as human beings first. They must be given the conducive environment to experience their jail terms. They must provide adequate training for them, vocational skills as they are experiencing their jail terms. They must be rehabilitated and given some training in areas that may be of interest to the individual inmates. For those who want to go to school, they can still pursue education within the prison facility, so that when they come back, they become a more refined individual instead of becoming worse than they were before they came into the system. The government must first of all acknowledge their human rights. They must treat them as other human beings outside. Make the place conducive for them and give them necessary things. And when they come out, the government as well should not just leave them like that. They should be helped, settle them, maybe establish with them in the field, in the trade, whatever they have learned during their prison, in their jail terms. I think that will go a long way in helping and curbing crimes in society. That is what I think. On top of the government must do on its own part, must make sure that budgetary allocations are made to the foreign ministry of that is under the ministry of interior. The budgetary allocation for that ministry should be up so that they can build more prison facility. We've never heard in the budget presented for a very long time prisons are going to be built. We don't hear that in Nigeria. We can't begin to use that colonial kind of prison. It will not work well. It will not work there. Even with the prison facility gives you sense when you go there as a less a human being. That is a psychological problem on those who experience their jail terms in those respective prisons. And that is why when some of them come out at the end of the day, they die because they must have contaminated a terrible disease or the other, because of the poor hygienic environment of the place. It's not a place you live in the same room, in the same room, you pee in the same room, you don't take your bath, you eat in the same room. Come on, at the end of the day, when you come out, you become worse, a terrible human being. And that is why at the end of the day, some of them who have stayed in the prison yard for a very long time, they are not able to cope with the normal society come out. So the government must do all this to provide adequate more kind of prison facility for our ex-convicts when they come out at the end from their prison terms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this time you've given to us to have you. Thank you so much. And thank you, viewers, for staying put and viewing this today. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media handles. This is Aspheric TV. I am Dayo Lujowo and my co-host.
And I'm Emmanuel Odunze.
Bye.